today I am going to be showing you how to make one of my favorite treats, scones. Scones are actually very, very easy, and once you get the basic recipe down, you can change it up and make lots of different flavors. I first learned how to make scones from Julia Child's cookbook, Baking with Julia. As you can see, this cookbook has gotten a lot of wear and tear. It has taught me a lot of great things, and this is one of them. I'm standing here next to all of the ingredients that you are going to be needing to make your scones. You're going to need unsalted butter, cranberries. I always recommend using fresh cranberries whenever possible, but when it's not possible to find fresh or frozen, dried cranberries will work as well. And because of the time of the year that we're making this video, we can use the dried cranberries. You're going to be needing your baking powder, your baking soda, oranges, buttermilk, sugar, and all-purpose flour. And I'm adding a little something new today because I always thought that my scones would be prettier with a little extra sparkle. So I found some extra sparkly sugar that I'm going to top them with, and you'll see how we do that at the end. We do that right before we put them into the oven. All right, so you ready to learn how to make scones? Let's get started. So we are making cranberry orange scones today, and one of the ingredients is orange zest. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking our oranges and just zesting the outer layer of the orange skin off. And what that does is it releases all of those orange essential oils, and it really gives a nice flavor to these scones. So what you're going to need is just a microplane zester like this, and I like to just do it over a bowl. And we just take the orange and we just go down, and you want to be careful not to get too deep into the orange, because if you go too deep into the skin, then it starts to get a little bitter. So you just want to get that outer part of the orange. Tap, tap, tap. All right, so I'm going to be doing that for a little bit, and I will be right back to tell you what's next. Okay, so this is how we're going to assemble the scones. We have a nice big bowl to mix in. We're going to add in 3 cups of flour, 2/3 cups of sugar. Here I have the salt, the baking powder, and the baking soda, and all of the exact measurements will be on the recipe at the end of the video. So that goes in. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add our butter. I have 1.5 sticks of butter, and what I did was I just cut it into smaller pieces like this. And I go ahead and I put all the butter in. Now, at this point, some people like to use a pastry cutter to just cut the butter in, but I think I go more by how the flour and the butter and everything feels in the hands. So what I do is I just kind of toss the ingredients together, and you can see I have these big chunks of butter. What I do is I just pick up the butter and the flour, and I just pinch it together in my hands like that. Now you don't want to get the butter into super tiny non-existent pieces. You still want to have a couple of chunks of butter, because that kind of helps make the scones flaky and nice and buttery. Okay, so after you know you're done, you've blended enough, when you can take some of the flour into your hands and squeeze it, and it holds the shape because the butter's been blended up in there enough. But you can see there are still some bigger chunks of butter left in there, and that's going to add to the flakiness of the scones. Now my version that I'm making today are cranberry orange scones. So the next step is to add the flavoring in. So what I do is I start by juicing one of the oranges that I've zested, and usually that gives me about 1/2 cup, and then I fill it up the rest of the way to 1 cup using buttermilk. So I'm going to add my buttermilk and my orange juice that I've just juiced into my mixture. And then you can see I have a nice amount of orange zest. That's going to give us some great flavor. I'm going to go ahead and put that in. And I'm going to put one of our bags of dried cranberries in. great. Time to get ready for the next step. So I'm going to wash my hands and then I'll come back and show you what to do next. Prepped, I'm going to put them into a 375-degree oven for approximately 15 minutes. Depending on how hot your oven runs, it might take you another extra 5 minutes or so. Okay? We'll see you in a little bit.